Look out, weekend, 'cause here I come. Because weekend's a word.
Welcome back, Home Wizards here. Cindy Dole with Eric Stromer, and we love to help improve your home and improve your life because the weekends, isn't that what it's about? There's so much to do.
Absolutely. You know, we're up now at 8 a.m. listening to this fine show, and guess what you get to do? Get inspired by the information that we've given you, and you're going to go out and do something today, particularly this project, which I think could speak to everybody out there who wants to change the look and feel of their home on an inexpensive budget and really give you great impact. But there's a couple of guidelines we'd like to share with you.
Yeah, it's all about figuring out the door color. What should you do about your front door? And, you know, you always hear about, and we always talk about, a great way just to kind of get inspired is to drive around and snoop. You know, snoop on the neighbors, snoop on the people in neighborhoods where you don't live and wish you did, and see how those colors look. And just yesterday I was driving around and I saw this green, kind of a mint green home, and it had a bright red front door, and it made me smile, and it had the color of the red was just so pretty up against the color of the green that it spoke to, hey, these people are happy and proud of where they live. Welcome, come on in. I mean, it says so much.
Yeah, it almost kind of it speaks to me more than landscaping even does sometimes, because it's such an obvious first place for your eye to go if the color that you choose is the right color for all of the elements around you. For example, to your point before, the color of the roof versus the trim versus the body of the house color. If you pick the right winning color for the front door, it can really distinguish it from the other homes around it.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you've got a great tip in terms of just starting with paint chips.
There's a really great thing you can do where you can just go take a picture of the front of your home, obviously from the front or the street where you live, and blow it up at a store where you can get it, you know, to be a lot larger. Maybe so it makes the size of the front door the size of a paint chip that you would get at your local big box store when you get a paint swatch. And then what you do is you cut out the area of the front door from that blown up image, and then you can go ahead and grab your paint chip colors and insert them behind that picture so that you can superimpose what the front door would look like with those specific colors that you choose. It's really a great way to visualize what you want to see the front of your house to look like in terms of a front door color.
I think that's brilliant. I mean, because, you know, you always hear about how paint chips, I mean, you can try to hold it to your door, but literally now that you've slid it in the back of the photo, that to me works better than even a digital thing, because now you really are seeing your home in big broad color.
Yeah, and you know, you can even stand back outside where you originally took the picture from and hold that image right next to the house, and then slide those colors in as you're looking at it, you know.
And with the light, you know.
You could do a comparison of, you know, color A and color B, and then looking back to the old color of your house. It's a really great way to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, of course, it is just paint, and yes, you could always paint it and then repaint it, but I think this is kind of cool because then you could go to the store, come up with like 5 or 10 paint chips, and then just, you know, really have narrow in on your favorites. So,
and you know what else too? It gives you the ability to free yourself up in terms of, you know, the timidity you might have about, you know, I couldn't possibly imagine having a powder blue door or a vibrant red door. You can kind of experiment with some pretty bold choices and not be overwhelmed by your choice.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about how to consider whether you go with bold or not so bold in terms of whether you have, let's start with neutral siding. Let's say that your home is just a very neutral, almost like a creamy color. A lot of people have a very neutral colored home. What about a robin's egg blue color for the front door?
See, I love that. I think it looks just beautiful. I've seen a couple of homes, especially in the Pasadena area when I was driving around to, well, frankly, to come to your house to get a free ham sandwich. But, boy, some of these older 1920s and 30s estate homes that you see have really done some great jobs with that color, and it looks just beautiful against the neutral tone.
It looks great. I think that another really good one is raspberry. That kind of that raspberry red against neutral. Can you picture that?
Yes, that sounds really good.
And it's almost like, you know, it's some fruit on ice cream. It's that kind of a thing,
that's
you know.
Right.
All you're missing is the chocolate.
That's actually a good palette if you want to think about about
Desserts.
what colors go together. Take
Go-
a look at some desserts.
Just go to the freezer section. That's going to help you figure
And
out
then
what
just,
you want.
And then just tell the attendant at the supermarket that you're trying to figure out the color of your front door as you're eating.
Yeah,
all
I'm
the
not
ice
eating all
cream out
this
of the
stuff.
freezer.
Exactly. Don't mind me. I'm just looking for my paint. Eric and Cindy told me to.
Yeah, that's right.
How about Empire Yellow? I've seen this also against the side of the house is almost kind of a palish yellow, right? And then
Yeah.
the door. The front door becomes almost like this playful citrus shade. It's like a brighter orange. Have you seen that?
I have. I love that.
Kind of a
Those are
tangerine.
great.
Yeah.
And then let me let me also speak to when you are painting this front door. Any kind of these vibrant, bold colors, you're going to want to tint your primer to a general tone close to the color that you're going to ultimately paint the front door. And especially when it comes to reds or raspberries, as you were speaking of before, those are very difficult colors to cover an existing front door with. So if you prime the door first with the color that's close to what you're ultimately going to use as your finished color, it makes all the difference in the world, and the paint job will end up looking much better.
I've always wanted a red door. I think that a red door.
I have a red door.
Yeah, I love
You
your
know
red
what
door.
it's done?
What?
It's brought me total financial prosperity and abundance.
Is that what that is the feng shui thing, huh?
It's a feng shui thing, but it also looks great against the piece of blue duct tape that covers the crack
Right.
in the glass on the front door. So
Now, what is the color of the side of your house, though? Is that kind of a...
It's kind of I have a sort of a classic color on my house. It's sort of a like a taupe color.
Okay,
that has
so it's neutral.
Black shutters
Uh-huh.
and then a red front door.
And that works. It's great. That's
Yeah, it
gorgeous.
looks beautiful.
We have a purple front door. It's kind of a lavender color. And that works also, I think, with we have kind of a creamy siding, neutral
Yeah.
color. But
Yeah.
what if you had darker siding? Let's talk about that. I mean, what if you have more colorful siding? What would work? Let's say that you do have that pale yellow siding again. How about maybe using a bright pinkish red door?
Yeah,
Or a deep green door, that might look really pretty. Or what if you have brick and stone as siding? What would you recommend? Like a nice deep green, almost like a hunter's green against the stone. If you have like flagstone or brick on a home, doesn't that sound really rich?
That sounds really pretty. And also, again, when you're picking colors for the front door, even any paint colors in combination, you can look to fashion and some traditional guidelines and rules as it applies to wearing different colors on your person when you're dressing. If you've got a pair of khaki pants, there's nothing better than a navy blazer, obviously, and you don't want to have two varying colors that are too similar, like a light taupe and then something that's kind of a different version of it, but not enough of a contrast.
Or like I know you wear a lot of army green with an orange T-shirt. Think of
That's
the
right.
orange T-shirt as your front door against kind of a deeper green home,
That's exactly
Or I also
right,
love the deep eggplant front doors. That looks so luscious, I think, when the home, again, is either stone or, that kind of a rich siding.
That's exactly right. I love
And a
that.
brick- a
Also,
brick.
too, when you're picking paint for your front door, I think I would recommend something on a little bit glossier side because it needs to be a little bit more durable. So you definitely don't want a flat paint or an eggshell on a front door. Something with a little more gloss because it's going to give it more strength for, well, in your case, when the dogs come back from their walk and they have their little sweaters on. By the way, thank you for sending me the picture of the dogs with the sweaters on them. They were fantastic.
Well, they had to,
But
they
again,
had to
it'll
be
keep
shaven.
the dogs from clawing the front door and scratching it so obvious.
All right, well, a couple of quick tips, Eric, because if we are inspired to do this today, we want what? Sand down the door so it's a great foundation to grab the paint a little bit?
Yep, sand down the door, wipe away any of the existing dust. You want to knock the shine or original gloss of the paint off. And then you obviously, again, paint with that primer that I told you to tint toward the color that you're going to ultimately select. If you get paint on glass or on hardware, don't worry so much about it. You can scrape it off after the paint job is done with a single-edge razor blade, and it'll come off no problem. And then go ahead and paint your finish coat. You do your first coat. Make sure that you're brushing with the vertical planes of the door. Make your brush strokes that same dimension.
And then do we start with just brushing like the detailing first and then paint the rest? And do we use a roller?
You can do all the trim work of to get all around the glass, and then you do the perimeter of the door. You start from the center and you work your way out.
Couple coats, maybe 2 coats.
2 coats will do it, and it'll be unbelievable. You won't believe how great the thing looks.
Love it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, and we're going to put some pictures on the website, too, so be sure to check out yourhomewizards.com. Well, there's so much to talk about for the spring, and with so many holidays in the spring, I thought that coming up next, we would discuss ways to bring flowers to the inside, and how do you arrange flowers just like the professionals do, right? We're going to talk about that next. Home Wizards, Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, as we love to help improve your home and improve your life.